clicking on this second video in the series explaining the Talent Dynamics Profiling Tool. Hello, I'm Katrina Johnson, Director of NewSky Consulting, supporting you, the not-for-profit leader and social entrepreneur, to make a difference in your communities. And in this video, I'm going to be recapping the Talent Dynamics Square and introducing the 8 profiles. So, like other profiling tools, Talent Dynamics have a number of different styles and profiles that individuals fit into. And if you remember from the last video where I talk about Talent Dynamics, it's based on creating value and leverage, or otherwise called trust and flow. And it identifies the 4 frequencies or energies. The 8 talent dynamic profiles then sit at the different points of the talent dynamic square. So let's recap the talent dynamic square. As explained in the last video, the talent dynamic square gives us the relationship between the 8 talent profiles. The talent dynamic square is represented by 4 different colors and the 4 different sides of the square. Each of those represent a genius or a frequency or an energy. So if you remember the 4 sides, there is at the top of the square, we've got our dynamo frequencies. And these are the people who have their head in the clouds. They're very innovative. They're very intuitive. These are the people that ask the what question. At the bottom, we have our tempo frequency. These are the people who are all about service and timing, and they're very sensory. They are the ones that ask the when questions. On either side, we have our blaze energies, and these are the people who ask the who question. They want to know all about the people. They're relationships focused. They're very extrovert and they're all about magnifying. And on the other side of the square, we have our steel frequencies. And these people are the ones that ask the how question. They're the ones that are all about the system, the process, and the data and the information. They ask how can things be done, and they multiply through systems. And they're your more introvert energies. The 8 individual profiles sit around the talent dynamic square, and they have a unique combination of all of the 4 frequencies. So let's have a look at each of those profiles. Our dynamo frequency team players, they include our mechanics, creators, and stars. And these people create value through innovation. Our tempo team players are our accumulators, traders, and deal makers, and they create value through timing. Our steel frequency team players on the left side of the square are our accumulators, our lords, and our mechanics, and they leverage through multiplying. Our blaze frequency team players are our stars, supporters, and deal makers, and they leverage through magnifying. Now, the 8 talent profiles each have a different game that they play when their talents shine. And when you take the Talent Dynamics test, you're going to receive a detailed information report all about your profile together with your 2 secondary profiles. And the secondary profiles serve as your wingmen. They're the wings to the primary profile. The pace you move at and the waves you make will depend on how much of your time you focus on your primary path and your secondary paths. Now we'll go through each of the 8 profiles, and we're going to start with the creator profile. Creators are your best initiators, and although they can be really quick to create chaos, they're also surprisingly innovative and brilliant at finding ways out of chaos. They are all about the ideas. They have great ideas. They're always looking for the next project and moving quickly to the next idea. Always put them in charge of new projects, but move them on to the next creation once their job is done. Creators have high dynamo frequency, and they naturally create their value through innovation. And when in flow, they're trusted most for their innovation and their initiative. Now, depending on whether they have more blaze or still frequency, they will most naturally leverage through magnifying or multiplying their value. They are least trusted for their sense of timing and being present for others. The next profile is our star profile. Now, stars are the best promoters, but they really need to lead from the front. They have a massive attraction factor. Give them the chance to shine and give them the space to deliver results without tying them down. People love to follow their stars. Give them the systems and the support to enable them to focus on building new business. Stars are high dynamo and blaze frequency. They naturally create their value through improvisation and leverage it through two-way communication. When they're in flow, they are trusted most for their innovation and their initiative and their communication and shared respect with others. What they're trusted least for is their sense of timing and being present for day-to-day activities, also for their calculation and their discipline. Our next profile are our supporters. Supporters make the very best leaders, but don't expect them to come up with the plan. Build a plan, set the goals with the supporter, and then let them lead the team towards the plan. Let them set their own management style and their own agenda. Supporters are really high blaze frequency. They naturally leverage through magnifying results through their relationships. And when they're in flow, they're trusted most for their communication and their respect in the team. And depending on whether they have more dynamo or tempo frequency, they will most naturally create their value through innovation or service. What they're least trusted for is their calculation and discipline in financials and data. Don't give a supporter the numbers. They're all about the people. Our next profile is our deal maker. Deal makers are the best peacemakers, and they will leave everyone feeling good. Don't expect them to go out cold calling, as they thrive on building the relationships that they have. Work with deal makers to nurture the customer and the relationships you have. They like to bring people together, and they're usually the ones that know the who's who and who needs to link with who to get things done. They are connectors. Deal makers are high blaze and tempo frequency. They naturally create their value through timing and leverage it through one-to-one communication. When in flow, they are trusted most for their sense of timing and sensitivity and their communication and shared respect with others. They leverage through their one-to-one communication, and they're least trusted for their innovation, strategic initiative, their calculation and financial discipline. Next, we have our traders. Traders are your best negotiators. They will always know what systems and which people will best provide the service and support to consolidate a satisfied and loyal customer relationship. They work best when given clear parameters to work within. They are awesome at customer service and relationships. Traders are the absolute mirror opposite of creators. They have a high tempo frequency. They naturally create their value through timing, and when in flow, they are trusted most for their sense of timing and really being present for others. And depending on whether they have more blaze or steel frequency, they're most naturally be able to leverage through magnifying and multiplying their value. What they're least trusted to deliver is on innovation and strategic initiative. Our next profile is our accumulator. Now, accumulators, they make the best ambassadors. They're reliable at getting things done on time and are not prone to making rash decisions. Accumulators make the very best project managers when a specific task really needs to be delivered reliably. Accumulators, well, they're the mirror opposites of the stars, and they have a high tempo and steel frequency. They naturally create value through timing and leverage it through replicable systems. When in flow, they're trusted most for their sense of timing and sensitivity and their calculation and discipline. And they are least trusted for their innovation, strategic initiative, their improvisation and communication. That brings us to our lords. Lords are your best analysts. Give them the space to study the detail and to deliver the data. But don't ask them to go out and network or spend time building relationships or in negotiations, as they are strongest when they're focused on being behind the scenes. Lords are the mirror opposites of supporters, and they are a high steal frequency. They naturally leverage through multiplying results through the systems. And when in flow, they're trusted most for their calculation and discipline in financials and data. Now, depending on their dynamo and their tempo frequency, they will most naturally create value through innovation and service. What they're least trusted for is their communication and respect of others in a team. These people are all about data, numbers, and systems. Our final profile is our mechanics. Our mechanics are the best completers. They will wrap up the process and find really smart ways to do it better next time. Don't ask a mechanic to start from scratch though, but do give them an existing process or product to improve upon. Mechanics are the mirror opposites of our deal makers, and they're a high steal and dynamo frequency. They naturally create their value through improvisation, and they leverage it through replicable systems. When in flow, they're trusted most for their innovation and their initiative and their calculation and discipline in the details. They're least trusted for their sense of timing, for being present for day-to-day activities, for their communication, and for their respect for the time and attention of others in the team. Your profile leads you to be in your flow. Now, a simple definition for flow is the path of least resistance. Given the different talent profile of each of us, what then becomes the most important for us to see for the individual is in adding value and leveraging that value for the team. For our team, it's about adding value and leveraging that value to the rest of the organisation. And for the organisation, it's about adding value and leveraging that value for the market or the sector in which we work. So, which profile do you think you are? And what about your team? Where do you think they sit on the talent dynamics square? When you know the talents of your team, you can give them the things that really create their value, that puts them in their genius zone. It also means that you can give them the things that are outside your genius zone so that you can spend more time doing the things that you do best, where you create the most value and leverage as well. Overall, the productivity of the team improves and the effectiveness of your organisation also improves, which means you have more impact on those you're there to serve. Why guess which profile you are when you can actually take the talent dynamic test and find out for sure? If increasing your not-for-profit or social enterprise's productivity and getting you and your team into flow for greater impact is of interest to you, then take the test, and more importantly, book your complimentary debriefing session with me, because that's where the magic happens. Stay tuned for video 3, where I talk more about the benefits of doing talent dynamics profiling and how it can actually impact your organisation.